Well, hello, my beautiful souls. I am so grateful to be here with you today. So, I know it's been a little bit. I am sitting here just feeling really connected with all of you, with Source, with everything that we are all like creating and connecting to. It's a beautiful place to be. And I was sitting here thinking, like, the things that our mind tells us and what is actually reality can be completely different things. So, your mind, your brain is a like electronic, like firing station, right? It is taking in so much information all the time. And if we try to process it all for what it actually is, that would be way too overwhelming. And what happens when we get overwhelmed? We shut down, right? We just stop moving. And so how does our brain or our mind actually like process and give you all that information? Well, it basically gives you a projection of what it thinks you're going to say, right? So all of us have experienced this in the last couple of years, right? So we look to each other's mouths and we automatically expect or project out what we think that the end is going to be, right? So when we cover up our mouth and we literally can't even see like the lips moving, our mind is like, I can't understand, right? Like, even though we may be speaking clearly, we may not be able to understand what that person is really saying because our mind is looking to this for feedback so that we can predict what is the end outcome, right? And so our mind is always giving us information. And when we start having a thought or we have an emotion come through, like the mind just automatically pulls up what we have experienced, past experiences, and then it creates that story, right? Or it brings that story forward. And so we go into like these old patterns and these old habits, and then they keep replaying, right? Well, it's because the mind is projecting what it or predicting what it thinks that end result or that story is going to be based on what that connection with that emotion. So it but it's could be completely false, it could be completely different. So it's like the emotion of anxiety, right? The emotion of anxiety, which we see as like a negative, right? Like, oh, it makes you want to like go within. Well, it has the same exact frequency as excitement, right? They literally have the same exact feeling, but we can, the mind is going to be like, okay, last time you felt this story happened, and so you connect it with either excitement or anxiety depending on what that was, right? So when we recognize that they're literally all just stories and our mind is predicting what we think that the end is going to be. So when I was a kid, I used to only read the first part of the word and then I would predict what the last part was. Well, this became very clear when I was making a pie, and I was doing all of it myself, and I was getting out the ingredients and stuff. And thank God my mother came over because she was like, that cinnamon looks a little green. And I actually had put cumin in instead of cinnamon. Well, I obviously, the spice, right? It started with a C, so I just assumed that it was cinnamon, right? But it wasn't, it was cumin. And so I predicted what the end was going to be, right? So where do we do this? We do it with our emotions. We do it with, you know, someone sends a text. Oh my gosh. Have you ever gotten a text or a email or a call from someone that and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to respond. I don't want to call." Like your mind just goes into this like story, right? And like gets you all anxious, and unfortunately our brains are like cued toward the negative for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. And so we go into the story, and until we learn that, like, what our emotions really are. Your emotions are just feedback. It's like the rumble bumps on the side of the highway. It's your cue that you're thinking, because what creates emotions? What creates that feeling? Well, you're thinking something. You're thinking something, and that thing that you're thinking is creating that emotion. And so the thing we tend to do is we run from our emotions, or else we just dive into them and be like, "Oh, here it goes again," right? I'm along for the ride. Well, we do have a choice. And something I have discovered here really recently through one of my coaches I'm working with is, we need to, well, and I've known this. I've actually been helping my kids to like feel the feeling. It's okay to feel the feeling, right? That emotion is coming up for a reason. Well, it's just feedback. It's just my coach, she says it's love. Like that's all emotions are, is love. Whether it's a good or a bad, it's just love. It's just letting you know where your thinking is, and you need to let it move. It's just energy, right? And so instead of like finding this emotion and being like, "Oh, I don't like this. This isn't good," blah blah blah, and creating a story around it, just accept the way that you're feeling and know that it's okay. You are okay. There's nothing wrong, right? It's just energy. It's just letting you know that this thought, and lots of times they're unconscious. They're in the subconscious. They're that program that's running in the background is coming up again. And it's okay. And once we acknowledge that it's okay that they're allowed to move through. And you just keep doing whatever it is you're doing. You keep working, you keep working out, you do whatever you're doing, and just, oh yeah, okay, there's there's that emotion again. There's that feeling. It's okay, right? And but when we give it meaning, right? We as humans, we take things way too personal. And we think that everything has to do with us. Well, we need to just it's okay. It's just a feeling. It's just an emotion. And instead of like connecting it to a story, we don't have to connect it to a story. We just have to recognize that it's coming through, and it's okay for it to just go, right? Because when we connect it to a story, we give it energy and we focus our attention on that story. And or we can be, you know, we predict that this outcome, or, oh gosh, this must mean that I'm really stuck, or whatever that is. Just let it go, right? And just recognizing like the emotions, the feelings for what they are. They are just energy, and you are perfectly safe to feel them, right? And we have good feelings and emotions. We have ones that aren't as pleasurable, but they all serve that purpose. They are all that guidance on whether you're in flow with where you want to be, or whether you're getting off in the rumble bumps and you need to come back and start thinking differently, right? And if you find that you're like being bumped back a lot and you need to have some help adjusting how you're thinking, right? Because thinking is a habit, just like everything else in our life. Life is a habit for us humans. And so, we have these trains of thinking that is just a habit. And then our emotions come along, and that's our habit connected to that way of thinking. And it's it's something that can absolutely be shifted, and just accept how you're feeling and know that it's okay. You are okay. And you will find that those emotions will move a lot faster when you don't resist them. When you take down that wall of resistance, oh, there it is again. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good, right? Just accept that that's how you're feeling and it's okay. All right. And also remember that your mind is just connecting it with your past experiences. It doesn't mean that that's the reality. There are so many different like realities for all those different circumstances, the different things, and the different ways. There's so many different perceptions that you could be coming from, but you come from that one that you have the habit of coming from. And if that one's not serving you, we need to learn how to create a different one. And that's what I am here for. I am here to help you shift how you're thinking and teach you how to do that. And it's not really that hard. Okay? So receive the emotions and feeling and know that no matter what they are, it's okay. Just accept them, allow them to move through you, and remember that whatever predictions that your mind is giving you, it's just going off of your past experiences. So what we need to do is create new predictions for your mind to connect to, right? By creating that desired outcome. All right, my friends, I hope that this has been supportive for you and that you have gained some insight or got an aha. I would love to hear your comments in the comments. And I just send out so much love and light to you today and expect abundance. All right, till next time.